Welcome back to Growth Lab Sessions. I'm Joao, CEO of Stealth White Label Agency. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood and most powerful growth channels, SEO. Our guest today is Matt Diamante, founder of HeyTony, and someone who built his agency largely through organic search. If you want to understand how to turn Google into a consistent source of inbound leads, this session is for you. If you're an agency owner looking to scale, you definitely want to explore our solutions at Stealth White Label Agency. With 14 years of experience and over 120 niches, we've been helping agency owners not only fulfill for their clients, but also acquire new clients so you can only focus on scale for your agency. If you're interested, definitely DM me, Joao, on my Instagram, or comment below and somebody's gonna reach back to you. Back to the podcast. All right, cool. So this is the beginning of our class here with Matt Diamante. Class 1 is gonna be about building a search-driven growth engine with SEO as an asset. And so let me kick us off, Matt. What separates companies that actually win with SEO from the ones that just publish content and hope that they can get results, right? So break that down for us. What are they doing differently?
So there's really two things. The companies that succeed, or the businesses that succeed, are patient and persistent, or persistent, consistent. They are doing it for a longer term. They're not just looking at this as like something that's going to get them a lot of traffic, get them a lot of leads, in the next 3 months. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 6 months. The other thing they're doing is they're creating content that is truly helpful for their potential customers. And that's it.
And so when it comes down to like creating specific links, backlinks, and all of these sort of like gatekeeping secrets, is that actually like not it? It's just about being consistent and putting out good content?
Yes, to an extent. So you touched on backlinks and internal links, all this stuff. I just want to quickly say what those things are in case somebody doesn't know who's listening. So the first thing is internal links. These are links from one page on your site to another page on your site. Simple. You can control those. You can link them to whatever other page you want. The other thing you mentioned is backlinks. So backlinks are links from another site back to your site. So you can't control those, although you can influence them a little bit by reaching out to other websites and saying, hey, I wrote a really great piece of content about this topic that you mentioned. Would you mind giving me a link back to my site? And backlinks are votes of confidence or, credibility signals for Google to be like, oh, these other people are voting for this site. The content must be good. So when we're talking about SEO, a lot of businesses, especially like local businesses in smaller markets, like you don't really need a lot of backlinks, if any, to rank. And the way that I like making content is I don't like competing with other people. I go after what we call long tail keywords, which is, it could be a sentence or a longer question that people are asking on Google or ChatGPT or Claude or LLMs. And these have a lot less competition. So oftentimes you don't even need backlinks in order to rank.
Okay, great. I feel like that makes things easier for the business owner that wants to just get traffic and generate leads from putting out content online. Now, in terms of, you touched on these long tail keywords, right? So essentially, keywords that there aren't that many people competing for, right? So because they're more niche, because they're more specific to what you offer. Now, how do you decide these keywords that's worth ranking for?
So there's a couple of different ways that you can find keywords. Number one, but let me tell you a quick story about a friend of mine, because I ran into him at a party a couple weeks ago, and I haven't seen him in like a year and a half. And so I asked him, he's a therapist, and I go, so how's everything going? How's the practice? How's your client load? All this kind of stuff. And he goes, it's going really well. I'm fully booked and I have a 3-month wait list. And I'm like, whoa, like, what are you doing? You're spending a lot of money on ads. Like, what's going on here? Because before that, he was, he quit the practice that he was working at. He started his own, he rented his own space. And he's like, as long as I can make, $400 a month and cover the rent or whatever it is for that room, I'm good to go. And now he's like fully booked out, and he charges like 170, $180 an hour or something like that. So he's making real money from this. And anyways, I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm literally just answering questions that I think my patients are going to ask me or going to ask about therapy in general. And I was like, okay, well, that's crazy. Like, good for you. So naturally, what anybody does after they get home from a party is I fired up my laptop. I opened up SEMrush and I was like, I need to analyze like everything this guy's doing because those are crazy results. So I put his site into SEMrush and I'm like, SEMrush says 0 traffic and no backlinks, 0 traffic. Like, he's not ranking for keywords. I'm like, how is this guy booked? And then I go to ChatGPT and I type in, male therapist in that city that he's trying to rank for, and he's getting referenced number 2. And I'm like, okay, so just by answering these questions, like, he doesn't know anything about SEO. He's not doing any technical stuff. He's not building backlinks. He's not doing any of this. Just by answering these questions, like as blog posts on his website, he is now ranking 3 months booked out or 3-month wait list. And I'm like, this is crazy. So all that to say is, like, he's not doing keyword research. He's literally just thinking of questions or writing questions down that people ask him and writing a blog post answering that question. That is as simple as it can get.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just when people hear about SEO, there's just a lot of concepts and strategies that start popping in people's heads. Right. And I feel like everything that you're mentioning right now, how you're telling the story of your friend, is a way to show a new perspective in the SEO industry, where it's like, hey, it's not that hard to rank in SEO. It's not that complicated. You just have to create content that's unique. That's what I'm hearing from what you're saying.
Yeah, and when we talk about unique content, like, you can, write a bunch of like BS, quote unquote unique stuff, or even have ChatGPT or Claude or whatever write you a quote unquote unique piece of content. But what people are looking for and what Google is looking for is unique experiences, unique perspectives and outlooks. And talking about, like, if you've been running a business, you have case studies or you have certain situations that you've been in that are very common, and you can answer those questions based on your experience and based on what you've gone through.
No, I love that, because I have a lot of blogs as well. We run mostly on ads to blogs, and a lot of people ask questions, and I think this is interesting for other business owners that are thinking maybe, hey, I don't have unique questions that come to mind like Matt's friend. What do I do? And so one idea for you as a business owner could be, if you're running ads, like or meta ads, for example, you're definitely going to be getting comments on your ad.
Yeah.
And so you can check out those comments and find unique questions, answer them in your own words, right, Matt? Like, maybe for some business owners, it might be hard to write like a good blog. So I don't know what your perspective is on this, but maybe they can just whip out their phone and GPT and like answer that question like in their own voice.
Yeah.
And then maybe have it in a way that's written a little bit more formatted. I don't know. Like, what is a good way for them?
So do you want to jump into this now? Because we can jump into this now, or
No,
I think part 3 is what we're talking about using AI.
Let's hold that one for our structure. I'm sorry. Thanks for
No. It's all good. I just want to make sure that everybody who's listening and watching is getting the proper flow of things. So the first thing is, like, yes, you can find questions and in the comments on whether it's social media, ads, wherever. You could also look at your competitors, see what people are commenting on there as well, because if you don't have an ad budget, let them spend money on ads and then just go spy on what people are commenting on their ads.
Genius.
Right? You could do something like that, or even go to organic, like on their Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, and see what people are commenting. You can 100% do that as well. The other thing you can do is I made this really easy. So I have a community. I post a lot on social media, and people are always like, well, keyword research tools are so expensive. Like I want something like I have zero budget. I have actually $0. So I made something called findquestions.com where you just type in what you sell basically, and it'll give you a list of like 30 or 40 questions that are commonly asked. So it scans the internet for that term for whatever you sell, and it'll put together questions for you that people are asking.
Wow. There you go. And yeah, let's put that link in the description so people can easily find that link, and they don't have to spend any money on finding good questions to write blog posts to. Now, in terms of execution, right? I feel like this is a question that a lot of people ask. I want to get your perspective on this. If you're starting from zero today, you're starting your practice, your mental health practice, what would be the first 5 pieces of content that you would write?
That's a really great question. One is price. How much does it cost? A lot of people will hide the actual price of hiring them behind a paywall, or like contact us to get a price. Like people just want to, if they're price shopping, let them price shop, right? A lot of the times they're looking for the best solution, not necessarily the best price. So have that. You could have another post, and this isn't necessarily stuff that people are going to be searching right away. They will eventually, but like, what's it like to work with you? Right? That's another post. What kind of tools do you use? How quickly can I expect to see results? Like, these are all questions that you can answer on your website. I'm just like, so that's 4 of them. I don't even know what the 5th one would be. But just start answering questions that you hear.
Awesome. Now, this is something that people would hear a lot, right, in the industry. Like SEO is an asset for you. And at what point does SEO stop being a marketing strategy and start becoming a real asset where it's compounding every month, where you don't have to put that much work in and you just have leads appear and it's like, I'm booked out for 3 months?
Yeah. So that's the one thing that people mistake all the time is they're like, SEO is working. I'm booked out. I'm getting leads. And I mentioned this in my book, which I just want to talk about for a sec, but I mentioned this in my book where people will stop doing marketing when things are bad. They're like, it's not working. I'm not getting leads. I'm not getting whatever. They'll also stop doing marketing when things are really good. Right. So they'll stop doing their SEO, stop running ads, and be like, you know what? We're booked out, whatever. But that is the best time because you now have the budget. You can hire somebody else to do this for you. Or you can just but you should keep running your SEO campaigns or whatever you're doing. Because SEO does take a while to gain traction, right? So if you're talking 3 months, 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years, depending on how competitive your industry is, like if you stop doing that, then you're setting yourself back a little bit. And I'm not saying to focus on it all the time. Like if you can spend 1 hour a week writing a blog post or fixing a page on your website, that's all you need to do. So I don't think you should ever stop doing this. And I know that sounds like, oh, I have to do this for the rest of my life. No, that's not, it's not like necessarily like that. You can hire somebody else. You can hire somebody who works at your company, or if they already work at your company, just be like, hey, here's a question you get asked all the time. Can you write a blog post answering it? Here's my framework. Here's how I answer these questions, whatever it might be. So eventually you'll be making enough money, or you'll be too busy where you can pass it off to somebody else.
And I think that's a great concept that I, as a agency owner, am always super keen. I'm always very in tune with in terms of my team. When marketing is good, that's the moment where we have to create even more angles for ads, even more marketing strategies, right? You cannot ever let your hair like down in marketing and in business, right? And when moments are bad, I mean, that's like where the best ideas come from, because you have a lot of pressure to make everything work. And so I think that Matt has a book that he wrote and touches on this topic. That's also something that you can find linked in the description of this class. But that's something that I preach in terms of my team and how I structure my teams or my service providers. I create a system where we have to do certain things every week, and like coming up with new angles, coming up with new blog posts. Like that's something that has to be done no matter what, in relation to the scale that we want to be at. Okay, so that's super important too, because if you're doing one and you're getting a result of 2, but you want a result of 10, then you got to be doing 5, right? And so like putting that system in flow is super key in terms of having it being done. And now the last point you touched on, Matt, that I super agree with is you don't have to do those things for the rest of your life, but in order for you to stay in the market, it has to be done, whether it's by you, a service provider, a team member.
Yep.
It has to be done, right?
Well, the other thing that I want to touch on too is, so this is an example of when things are bad, clients want to pause. And like, this is years ago when COVID happened, we were working with a bunch of dentists. And all of them were like, okay, we can't see patients. We need to stop all our marketing because we can't see people anyways. And I was like, you guys are so stupid. I didn't say that to them, but I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Literally, all of your competitors are doing the same thing. They're all pausing. They're all stopping their marketing. What we're going to do is we'll defer your payments. That's fine. But I want to see you succeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing SEO for you while everybody else is stopped. That's our chance to get ahead. And all of the practices we were working with like doubled or tripled the amount of new patients they had when they started opening up again. And their competitors, all of a sudden, they weren't ranking anymore. They had nobody watching their results. They couldn't react fast enough. And that's like, yeah, you don't take your foot off the gas is basically what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. Sometimes a lot of calls will say the best defense is attack, right?
Yeah, a good offense.
A good
best defense is a good offense.
Exactly. The best defense is a good offense. I think in marketing and in many other things, but especially in marketing, that's so true, right?